Welcome to J Weekly Canada. My name is Susan Minuk. With me via Zoom from New York City is Academy Award-winning Israeli filmmaker Guy Nattiv. Hi, Guy.
Hi.
You directed the highly anticipated film Golda, featuring actress Helen Mirren as Golda Meir, Israel's first and only female prime minister. The story is set in 1973 during the Yom Kippur War, when Egypt, Syria, and Jordan launched a surprise attack on Israel on its holiest day, Yom Kippur. The film focuses on the difficult and sometimes controversial decisions Prime Minister Golda Meir was forced to make during this time.
Four, three, two, one.
Today, the Egyptian and Syrian armies launched an offensive against Israel. Our enemies hoped to surprise the citizens of Israel on Yom Kippur.
Our troops are outnumbered 7-1.
If the Arabs reach Tel Aviv, Israel will be wiped off the map.
What drew you to the story of Golda Meir and inspired you to create a film about her?
Well, I was just a baby in the war. My mom ran to the shelter with me as a kid, and I was, and my father went to the front to the war, and so I'm from the children of 1973. They call us the baby boom, and it's not until like 10 years ago that I started to understand much more about the war and about Golda, because until then nobody knew anything. It was kind of a top secret, the whole war and what went down there. And I think only when the protocols, the declassified protocols and documents came out, we understood that Golda was not the only person to blame for what happened. It was actually the entire chain of command that were dysfunctional in a way, and this, kind of a debacle regarding the intelligence, not turning on the listening device. But also Golda had her faults. She's not perfect, and she had a lot of faults regarding. She was a refusnik. She said no to every discussion about peace or about like lands, and she was just the wrong person, wrong time, and the wrong place. She made history as a pioneer woman that led a country in a time and place that no woman was in charge of. There were no women in high level kind of like leading roles, and I think she made history in a way. But she was pushed to this. So this whole story is something that I found out so fascinating and cinematically, and also to tell a story about a woman, an older woman who is sick, who is struggling, and she is becoming the grown-up in charge in a dysfunctional, basically, command room.
Absolutely. So how did you approach the challenge of depicting such a significant historical figure on screen?
Well, when it was not my script. Nicholas Martin wrote the script. I came on board when Helen was already attached as Golda. And when I came to this project, it was 80% war, 20% Golda. And I really wanted to change it. I wanted to bring Golda to become like 80% like character piece, and then 20% war. And I'm happy that I kind of changed the dramatic narrative. And I came on board and I started working with Nicholas on the script. The pandemic happened, and Helen came to my house to meet me. We sat for 3 hours and we just bonded, and we just trying to make it happen after the pandemic, or towards the end of the pandemic in London.
What was it about Helen Mirren, though, that you knew she'd be the perfect person to portray Golda Meir?
First of all, she's one of the best actresses of our time.
Absolutely.
That's one thing, which helps. But, when I met her, I felt that I'm talking to my mom. I felt that she has the neshama. She has the soul and the heart. She was 29 when she came to Israel. She volunteered in the kibbutz Haon, and in the north. And, she picked tomatoes in the kibbutz. She fell in love with a Jewish man. She toured the country from north to south. She slept on a beach in Eilat. She was kind of like, she felt Zionist in a way, Israel was in her veins. And that's why when I spoke to her, she felt to me like, oh, she's from my tribe, totally. Knowing that we are on the same page, we both wanted to do the same movie. And she trusted me. And I adore her, not only as an amazing actress, also as a human being. She's just a mensch.
So Golda was fighting for the state of Israel and at the same time her own personal war with cancer. Can you talk about this apparent irony and juxtaposition?
Yeah, the irony is definitely there. She smoked herself to death. It was almost like a self-destruction.
You really showed that in the film. My goodness.
Yeah.
In my day, they stood for the Prime Minister.
Secretary Kissinger is on the line.
Remember that I am first an American, second I am Secretary of State, and third I am a Jew.
You forget that in Israel we read from right to left.
The American people will pay a high price for supporting Israel.
If we have to, we will fight alone.
Our troops on the canal, they're surrounded.
You rescue these boys.
Might lead to catastrophe.
If the Americans throw us to the dogs, I will not be taken alive.
The Egyptians have fired a cruise missile at Tel Aviv.
Well, I'm not going to get under the table, but don't let me stop you. If the Egyptians defeat us with Soviet weapons, what message does that send to the free world?
The Russians are preparing 11 airborne divisions.
When I was a child in Ukraine, they would beat Jews to death in the street for fun. I am not that little girl hiding in the cellar.
But it's also a end of a period, end of an era for Israel, when the hubris of the left, the hubris of those commanders, the kings of the Middle East, like Dayan, like Dado, like all those commanders that came from the 6-Day War, we control everything, got a giant slap. And it's just get to show you how the hubris and the whole, the cockiness in a way that brought them to the stage of not seeing each other. They were blind, they were deaf. And that's why the smoke is an element that the smoke in their eyes, in a way, it's like the fog of war that prevent them from seeing each other. The only move that actually saved us was Golda in front of the Americans, because she knew how to manipulate and control Kissinger and get all those shipments from the States, those planes with weapons, with missiles, with, when Russia was supporting the Arabs. So I think that something to remember.
So Golda had an interesting dynamic with U.S. Secretary of State, Henry Kissinger. So what do you think were some of the reasons for this?
First of all, without the U.S., we wouldn't be today a country, or Israel would be wiped off the map. This is something that you needed Golda that came from Milwaukee. She was American, and she knew how to talk to the Americans. She had the American mentality that all those Sabras did not. But she was a missed opportunity, because if you look at it, she did not make the peace with Sadat. She saw that on her deathbed, and she did not pick the fruits, and she didn't get the you saw Sadat and Begin getting the awards and all the praise, and where she was, she was just went to the drain of a failure politician. So this film is a little bit cleaning her, bringing her as more human, more emotional, and somebody who has integrity and straight person,
So those would be maybe some of the surprises that people might recognize through your film about her.
What did you say?
Those characteristics that you're just mentioning are perhaps some surprises that audiences may take in that
Absolutely.
they of her.
Absolutely, yeah.
So in the film, after Liev Schreiber plays Kissinger, and I heard, is this true that the two of them actually met before film and reminisced about that time in history?
They met here in New York in his apartment. Kissinger, 101, super sharp, spoke to Liev Schreiber for a few hours before he came to set in London. It was phenomenal.
What an experience. And my gosh. So in the film, you intercut archival footage and news reports and battlefield audio with events in the bunker. So let's talk about the ways you balanced historical accuracy with creative storytelling in portraying this life.
What's the question?
Well, what are some of the other ways that you portrayed the storytelling creatively?
Well, listen, it's not a documentary, right? It has narrative stretches in order to tell a story. But I gotta say, all the recordings are real. They're from the front. All the top shot of the planes are real. The battle scenes, it's all real. It's all like all the facts, because all the discussions in the war rooms, all the war, the progression of the war, it's all based on real events. Of course, it took more than 10 days. I would have to make a mini series like of 7 episodes to tell the entire story of the war. And also, it's not a biopic from birth to death, right? It's not like
just on this war period.
Yeah, it's not like The Crown. The Crown is more of this biopic. But if you look at The Queen, this is kind of what I was trying to do, which is like specific time in history in the life of Golda.
So Golda Meir's legacy continues to influence politics and leadership. What do you hope viewers will take away from Golda in terms of lessons or insights?
Well, first of all, I want people to know who she was, because a lot of people in Israel who are younger, like 19 or 20, think it's an ice cream, because there's an ice cream named Golda in Israel. It's a chain, so they don't even know who she was. Mm-hmm. So it's a kind of educational tool for the kids of today. People don't know her in the States, But, when I was a kid, I was overwhelmed by 2 movies that I've seen when I was 16. One was Gandhi with Ben Kingsley, Richard Attenborough film. And the other one was The Last Emperor, Bernardo Bertolucci film. So I was a kid and I saw a film about history that I didn't know, a character that I didn't know. And I was overwhelmed. And that's what I want kids today to look, to search, to see their history, to see a story about a pioneer woman who paved the way to Angela Merkel, Margaret Thatcher, Hillary Clinton, women that are significant and powerful.
Well, bravo, because you certainly did that, and the younger generation for sure needs to know and see. So I want to ask you, you seem to have a passion for making films about actual people. What is it that fascinates you about, films based on true stories?
Look, the thing that I grew up on films from the 70s, that were raw, real, and had a message. I guess that in every film that I'm doing, I find something within myself. In this film, it's me, the second generation to Yom Kippur, and it's the whole identity of who I am is Israeli American in a way, because Golda was American Israeli, and also what's going on today in Israel, where you have the Yom Kippur of democracy. When you see the leaders are trying to diminish the judicial system, and Benjamin Netanyahu is trying to do that. And I mean, Golda believed in the high court. She believed in the judicial system. She had, she was honest enough to say, you know what, it's on me. It's on me, and I'm resigning. Show me a leader that will do it today, that will take responsibility like she did, And I feel that the leadership today in Israel are blind like the leadership in 1973. I feel it's the same blindness coming back again. It's like a full circle. And I went to demonstrate in Israel with Yom Kippur veterans, and on their T-shirt it says, we fought on. I'm a 1973 soldier, veteran. I'm fighting again for the future of Israel. So it feels to me like it's a full circle. It feels to me like this movie has significance for a lot of Israelis. But more than that, look at their leadership. You don't have Shimon Peres, Menachem Begin, Yitzhak Rabin, leaders like we used to have, that had integrity, that were humble. They served the country. They didn't serve themselves. And today you feel that the Prime Minister is first of all taking care of himself rather than this country.
Well, thank you so much for your time and for making this important film. Golda is coming to theaters August 25th. Congratulations. Golda is such a wonderful film. Wishing you every success. Bye now.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Susan.